so the Gazans are paying the price, and I always, I always remind people it hasn't started on October 7th.
Right.
يعني I have relatives in Gaza, Christians. Their houses are demolished. They don't have a home to go to anymore. They've never been allowed to come to even pray in Bethlehem or in Jerusalem. Never. Put a cat in a cage.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the best, like put a cat in a cage. And the fighters in Gaza now are those who were 1 year old 18 years ago, who lost their parents, their homes, their schools, again, speaking of trauma. So I'm not justifying, because I never justify any act of violence, but sometimes we have to challenge ourselves and take a moment to understand why. When someone goes to stab a soldier, in any checkpoint, then he will be killed on spot, but then you will know that his father is sentenced for 50, 80 years in the Israeli jail. He already lost 2 brothers in the conflict as martyrs. The house is demolished. People don't have the courage to kill themselves and go suicidal because it is a sin. But you can do that because you are already depressed, but you will die as a hero because people will say you're a martyr. You know what I mean? Where desperation can take people. So understanding, that's why we say like trauma, and it's embedded and it's reflected in different behaviors and attitudes we take on daily basis. Sometimes my anger management sometimes is and then I take a moment, I'm like, why did I say that? How could I, and then I have to ask myself, where does this come from? When I hear a helicopter, my attitude changes in a moment, and I become very anxious, and then I'm like, okay, because something within my system is triggered. So the occupation is not only physical and on the ground, it is psychological. It's all here.
That's what I was gonna ask. It feels like a naive question, and it also has a deep desire for things to change, but the word occupation has many, I've heard it, I grew up with it being, that's what you said about in 1967, what happened there. It's the occupation of West Bank and Gaza, not the state of Israel. But I'm hearing occupation is a much different thing these days. Can you say more what you mean when you say occupation? And also, do you feel this is the way out? Is this the way out? What's the vision for a real future in this land? So they're related to me. They're related, right? So what is occupation to you, and how do we release? What's the vision?
Maybe you want to contribute. I can maybe quickly. Occupation is the identification of a regular Palestinian life, because the water you drink is occupied, the electricity is provided by Israel. You have many airports. Sometimes people take their airports for granted. We don't have an airport. We're not allowed to have an airport. We have to we're not allowed to drive to Jordan, which is 2 hours. It takes us 10 hours to pass through the checkpoints to Jordan in shuttles like cows. This is occupation. Not being able to hike anymore in the green area in Bethlehem because settlers just decided to move in. This is occupation. And limiting people's dreams. Because in some things, if you're a great physicist, for instance, and you do something with physics, you won't be able to come back because Israel won't allow you to come back. This is occupation. And what's the dream for this land? I believe it's clear. I want to celebrate diversity. I mean, Israel is a little bit driving me schizophrenic because we're the only democracy and then we want a Jewish state. It's either or. Like Saudi Arabia, they don't like, we're Islamic state. That's it. They don't claim both. You can't. It's either or. So for me, like what I wish to see is a celebration of diversity. I wish to walk in the streets and hear people speaking Hebrew and others speak, Arabic, and
To go to the beach.
to go to the beach. People are having hummus and falafel together. Maybe I'll give the Elias to answer and then I'll take your.
No, yeah, we're sharing the same thing, but yeah, like for me, like the occupation is all act of injustice against human beings.
Yeah.
When we see lack of equal rights,
Yeah.
when, as I said, there's an exclusive right for group of people and not the others. When I see myself as a Palestinian, I'm less than the Israeli in my basic rights. As I said, the water we drink, restrictions of movement, access to land. My dream is to live in Haifa. That's my favorite town, but I don't even have the right to visit Haifa. So I always say that the next day of the peace agreement, I will just take everything and move to Haifa. But I don't have this right to choose where can I live. While the Israeli can choose, they can live in a settlement in the West Bank or next to the beach. They have the freedom to choose. So freedom of choice is occupation here. So yeah, that's the dream. Like we are hoping, this multi-culture, multi-religion, multi-language land where we can celebrate the diverse of it and and be the true trustees of this land.
And I want to say I appreciate learning more about your truth